Welcome to Cho Ayaba, the leader of the Ambazonia Governing Council. The government says that the separatists are responsible for killing 84 members of the security forces. How do you respond to that?
The government has declared war on Ambazonia and our people. When it declared war, it deployed its military against civilian targets. It deployed its military within highly populated areas. And I made it extremely very clear when Mr. Biya declared war that the Ambazonian people will defend themselves against the brutality of the occupying regime. And that has been the case. So if there have been military deaths within the conflict, we have no apology to give Cameroon about the death of its terrorist forces within Ambazonia.
They also accuse you of having burnt or bombed some 120 schools. Are armed separatists responsible for those attacks?
No, armed separatists are not responsible for the burning of schools. I know schools have been burnt. We know specific schools that have been burnt by the regime, like Sacred Heart College, Bamenda, where there was a contingent of Cameroon military personnel within that particular school, and it was torched in the night. I know civilian population have burned schools, but the resistant forces, especially the Ambazonian defense, does not burn schools.
The authorities in Yaoundé also say that armed separatists are using child soldiers. Do you know if any of the groups who are linked to your organization are using child soldiers?
Absolutely not. We don't use child soldiers. We follow the principles laid down in the four Geneva Conventions on the rule and engagement of war. I have seen videos circulated which shows possibly that there are persons within our forces that are below 18. We have investigated that, but we haven't found any unit that has any defense force that is below the age of 18. If that should be the case, we will take action against any commander or any unit that engages in any action contrary to the code of conduct laid down by the Ambazonian Defense Forces.
The report that the government has released specifically names you and others living abroad and accuses you of inciting hatred and collecting funds to support terrorism. Are you doing that?
We don't incite hatred. We have millions of Cameroonians within Ambazonia. There is no evidence that any Cameroonian within our territory who is a civilian going about his or her own activities has been hurt. Some of our leaders were kidnapped in Nigeria and deported possibly to Yaoundé. There are thousands of Nigerians living within the territory of Ambazonia. There is virtually no evidence of any activity against these Nigerians. We have preached love and coexistence within the territorial borders at which we gain independence. And we have never excited our people or incited them to orchestrate any acts of hate against Cameroon civilian population or Nigerian civilian population. We have told our people, in the absence of the international community, to protect our people against crimes against humanity. They have the responsibility to protect their lives, their property, and their neighborhood. And that's exactly what we are engaged in.
The Cameroonian authorities say that the crisis in the Anglophone regions has led to the displacement of almost 75,000 people. Do you agree with those figures?
There are more than 160,000 Ambazonians internally displaced. And that is a very conservative number because of the regime's action in burning down villages, in using helicopter gunships against civilian population, and forcibly moving people from villages. Like divisional officer in the county of Manyu asked the evacuation of 16 villages. It is responsible for these displacements because it has turned to be a bestial army that has killed our people, and the people have moved into areas where sometimes our forces control for protection.
You make accusations there regarding atrocities carried out by the security forces, but at the same time, the government says that you're helping to spread disinformation, and in fact that the atrocities carried out by the security forces are just fake news?
I am not the one making the accusations. The Amnesty International report is an independent investigative report that was presented to both Cameroon and our people and the international community. And that report has accused Cameroon of crimes against humanity. And so it is not the Ambazonian Governing Council or any other group associated with our struggle for independence that is making these accusations. The evidences are clear, with the displacement of 160,000 people internally, thousands of others, more than 30, that have moved across the border into Nigeria. There are others that have moved into other African countries. We have watched videos of Cameroon soldiers decapitating Ambazonians. We've watched a video of Cameroon soldiers humiliating Ambazonian women. Those are not fabrications. Those are established facts, and Cameroon should be able to defend that in a court of law.
What do you make of the government's plan to raise 19.3 million euros for various humanitarian needs? There's figures for basic necessities, medical treatment, emergency equipment, foodstuffs, water, sanitation, reconstruction, planning, communication. What do you make of this plan?
It's a laughable plan. The government's plan is characteristic of Cameroon's socio-political outlook. It invades, it shatters communities, deprives them of their livelihood, burn down their means of survival, chase them out of their homes, and then throw a bone and hope that, like hungry dogs, they will fight over it for their own survival. Cameroon is bankrupt. It hasn't got the monies to prosecute the brutal campaign within Ambazonia. It is faced with international isolation, and it is playing both the arsonist and the firefighter. The Ambazonian people have rejected these overtures. The African Commission on Human and People Rights in the Ngumne versus Cameroon case has said the root causes of the crisis, which is Cameroon's occupation of Ambazonia, must be addressed. Different international organizations, governments have told Cameroon, you have to address the root causes of this crisis. All of these fantasies will not solve the Ambazonian problem. We don't need handouts from Cameroon. They should get out of our land. Our people will return to their villages and their cities and rebuild their lives.
Thank you to Cho Ayaba from the Ambazonia Governing Council.